So those who don't know me, this is Navnit. I'm a specialist solution architect with AWS. I work primarily on data and AI, and also happen to be an author of a book called AI Ready Data Blueprint. So don't forget to pre-order. Let me allow here. It should be mirroring, right, or extending. So context, all you need, right? And if you see it right, we got a lot of really good white papers on the same topic. And after there's a paper on context, all you need, like industry is technically talking about like, okay, how we can able to have and optimize our GenAI application. So the main challenge with the GenAI application is not about the platform data or anything as such, but more about how your GenAI application or AI application will be aware of this context. And when we talk about the context, we are not talking about having one platform where you're able to go and bring all your data. We're talking about having the multiple data silos, bringing those data silos, and making those knowledge graphs or relationship there. The challenge within the industry I see here, and me working on a couple of other Gen AI applications, and one of them is where I was working with one of customer. This use case was very, very simple. They have bunch of financial files. They had a profit and loss. They had a balance sheet. They have AD/CDCO file, and they have other of relational file. Though they ask, can we able to bring this file together and generate the commentary, right? By looking at this, the use case is so really simple. But when I started working on this one, it was super easy when I was just working with one file, extracting that information, feeding that to the model, and generating the commentary. But as soon as when we are having and start building those relationship across multiple files, I see things go really weird because sometimes model are hallucinating. They are not able to get the context. The token window itself has been increased so huge, like it was super, super costly. And that's where I, like, you know, in data engineering one-on-one, you should not be putting all the data all the time to your model. Now, this is primarily because I see there's a lot of intelligent people here in this room. The question is how OpenSearch can be used or fill that gap. So if you look at the diagram, which is being I wrote on the AWS Builder, this blog, where I talking about how you can able to go and ingest the data from the different data sources and build this knowledge graph. And on top of it, we are having this semantic layer. What I feel like the OpenSearch truly fit here on the semantic search, but are there any possibility, or are the communities working around even before that knowledge graph, right? We talked about how join is super critical when you're looking to go and work on it, and then Praveen talked about why a single vector is not going to work. All those things are alluding towards we need to have something which allow us to build the context. So the floor is open, and any thought is welcome here.
Who has not asked a question yet? Okay, who has?
I think there are many parts into this question. So first, you have the context propagations first, like between, like from the ingestion pipeline into the retriever part, into the generation part, and how to make sure that that context is kept, is like what's the word, honored across like the whole pipeline between agents and so on. That's the first question. The second question is that how do we define a context, basically? How do you make sure that you provided your LLM with the right chunking or like the right context? That's another layer into it. The third layer into this one is you're saying the knowledge graph, OpenSearch should be part of the knowledge graph. Something that's what you said, or?
Microphone, microphone, microphone.
the 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 whole the premises was we are having this open source ingest which allow us to bring the data. We are having the semantic layer within the open search which allow us to do all kind of a search, but the context part where we able to go and join all the data together, make the agent much more aware what it's trying to do. So this way, they do not need to go and try to find or the answer which we are getting are hallucinated or depend on the semantic layer. Is there any possibility within the open search to serve this knowledge graph part as well? So that was the questions, primarily how we can able to use the open search for the knowledge graph.
Okay, so here, the first thing is like to have your, okay, to get your generative AI application, generate something, you need the context. And it's the crucial part here is getting the right context, right? That's where information retrieval comes into place. So you need to pick, you have like thousands of documents, you have like, and it's sitting in different stores. But picking the right documents for that particular question is what is going to do in the retrieval part. And then that is going to basically reduce the cost of your generative part. It's more like a RAG pipeline. That's it. So in this case, so for, I mean, the plain, straightforward answer is just put everything, all of your data, like you chunk them up into different whatever chunking strategy you have, put it to open search, and then you do a search first, and then based upon the context you retrieve. This is one thing. But if you want to even make it more like not to have your retrieval layer like really heavy, where like you don't want to put everything into your open search vector database, the way you could do is just proposing something here. You can put your primary data into your open search, like whichever, for example, if it is regarding giving recommendations to users, or you know, right, so which is going to be your primary data source. And that is going to be sitting as your vectors or your documents into OpenSearch. And whatever is going to be the supporting information for that primary data source could be an online lookup during the query time. So first a question comes, and the primary data source, which is sitting inside OpenSearch, you already ingested and you already indexed into OpenSearch, is going to be the first thing you're going to retrieve. And then you're going to add supporting information by doing online lookups. It could be like, say, it could be in S3, it could be in some other transactional stores. So you use the first set of documents that you retrieve from OpenSearch to pick lookup information from all those smaller data sources. And now your context gets bigger, and with this bigger context, you then you can generate a final answer. So it's about, I mean, it depends on your use case, but I have seen users going with both the ways. But for the second type, where like the primary data source will be like sitting into vector store to reduce the cost, to reduce the storage, and all the lookup information will be just sitting then and there wherever the original data source, and that lookup will be happening online based upon their first retrieval set of documents. These lookups will be done online and then given to an agent or given to a LLM prompt to get an answer. This is something I have worked, but yeah, it should be discussed even deeper to get, yeah.
One final comment is that here we're talking about a specific thing, which is having a relationship. This depends highly on your data. That's my point earlier, is that if you need to understand how the chunks are related between each other, semantically related, you mentioned about the PDF documents, for example, or let's say something that is regarding network between people, like behavior, similarities, and the relationship. There, the graph in itself should be there. And it should not, like, should not be in an open search. Like you can have your graph data with open search. So I think these are two separate use cases where you can use open search, but open search will not solve it all. Like you can also have graph data with open search work on this layer of having the context, enriched context, understand the relationship between the different contexts of your data, and then send it to open search to do that semantic search layer. So I think it's definitely complementary. Like they can work together. It's not like one or the other. That's my point.
The whole idea of this talk, or the point which I was looking to present here is, are we, or as a community, how we can able to help to make OpenSearch much more context aware, so which can be used for the real world. So this way we don't need to worry about having a multiple data sources kind of brought in for the lookup. As soon as we kind of leave the OpenSearch platform and go any other platform to look for or perform the lookup, that we will be increasing the latency. And again, we will be making this application a little more complex. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you.